Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of the Confidence to Homeschool podcast. Today, we are going to dive into the question of how in the world do you stay sane while homeschooling? Let's go over a couple of our morning routines to help us start our very best of our day. Welcome to the Confidence to Homeschool podcast with me, Kelsey Shalane. I'm a lover of all things Jesus, an exceptional wife to an exceptional husband, and a homeschooling mama of four. Together, let's trade in those insecurities and questions of if you can homeschool for the confidence that homeschooling was the right decision for you. Through simple homeschooling techniques, growth in God, and small mindset shifts, we have the power to change generations and set our kids' hearts tuned to the Lord and a love of learning. So grab your lukewarm coffee, because who gets to drink it hot anyways, and let's shave off years of that how to homeschool learning curve. All right. So, because I absolutely love having Lina on this podcast, and I know that you guys are enjoying having her as well. She is the queen of morning routines, and I have absolutely been so grateful to her for really standing behind me and cheering me on for a wonderful morning routine. So, we are going to dive into what in the world a morning routine can look like for you, whether it's just a couple of minutes or you want to take a whole hour or whatever it is that you need. I hope that we can give you some good tidbits that you can assemble your own morning routine. So, welcome back, Lina.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be back.
You're just becoming a regular.
I like it. It's a lot of
I
fun chatting with you. I mean, this is what we do all the time. Chat
We do.
and become
Yeah.
better.
Yes, yes. So you guys really get to just jump in on some of our regular conversations. And that was really my hopes and dreams for this podcast, anyways, is to be able to bring like-minded women in together and to be able to share that journey with you, because it is so important to have a wonderful community around you. And I'm going to side note our morning routines and talk about real quickly, just super fast, y'all, the importance of a community around you. And I've told Lena a million times, like, I always pray for the friends that God would want me to have. And He has just always continuously, faithfully showed up in bringing the people into my life that I need and taking the people out of my life that are no longer serving. Um, a purpose. And sometimes that's a season, and sometimes they are gone for good, but he does it in such a wonderful and graceful way. And I know that Lena has something to add to that.
Oh yeah. I mean, for years and years I was praying for friendships, and again, like I feel like I'm always coming back to this, but with my husband being in the military and we moved every 3 years, I always had to restart wherever we moved across the country, and it's always hard to find those friends that are in a similar season, who are into the same things. And of course, too, like family life, you want them to like your kids, and I want to like their kids, and there's so many moving parts into a friendship. And I prayed about it, and then I know we talked about this in a previous episode, but Kelsey and I just reconnected, and the perfect time, and we have just grown so much together.
Yes, I agree. We have an iron sharpens iron relationship. And if you don't have an iron sharpens iron relationship, be sure to be including it in your prayers, because it is a wonderful, wonderful thing to have.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, so we are going to jump into morning routines, and I feel like this could be such a cringe-worthy topic if you're like, I am just not a morning person. And if that's the case, stick around, because I have some extra little tidbits that are not necessarily to do with your morning. If you mess up and don't wake up with your alarm or whatever it is, there are other ways to get some alone time and regain your sanity in the middle of the day. So stick around even if you hate morning routines. But waking up early. So I try to make it a key factor in my day to wake up at least 30 minutes before the kids. And every time I miss this, and I start off my morning with my kids talking to me immediately, like before my coffee is made and all of the things, I know like it's a rough day. It is like, can I just get a minute, please? Right?
Mm-hmm. For sure. And even I think it's important to just realize what you need in that season. Right now, it's easier for me when my kids are a little older. They already know, don't bug me before I have some quiet time in the morning. But when they're little and they just wake up with a need of food or being held or diapers changed or
Yes.
something they need from you, it's just, you need to have some quiet time and you need to have that just grounding time in the morning so you're ready for the day ahead.
I agree. I absolutely agree because yes, we start out with diaper changes and um I need food immediately and there is
Mhm.
no space in between that. So I tend to wake up. My favorite time to wake up is around 6. What time do you try to get up?
I love waking up 5:36. That's somewhere
5:36.
around there. That's depending
Our
on how the day looks, but that's my ideal day.
ag agreed, agreed. Okay, so what goes into your morning routine, Lena?
Yeah, so um my morning routine always looks a little bit different, but I have a few things that look the same, I would say 98% of the time. And that is, I wake up and I have my coffee already prepared and on a timer from the night before. So when I wake up, my
Ooh,
coffee is ready and done, and I can smell it when I walk out of my bedroom, and it just makes me happy. Um, then I sit down either on the couch. Sometimes I go out to the pool area where we just have this beautiful backyard in our new house, and it's so peaceful. And deer are walking by, and I love to just sit there and I'll read my Bible, usually on the Bible app, because
yes.
it's just easy and it's in my hand usually.
Mm-hmm.
I do my prayers. I like when I journal. That doesn't happen all the time. And I feel like I'm one of those people that sometimes I journal every single day for like a month and a half or something. And then it just naturally falls kind of out of place. I don't journal and I don't feel like I need it. So journaling, I love it, but it's one of those that kind of comes and goes with whatever is going on in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I
but
agree.
yeah, and then another thing I do, I always try to go for a walk. So I listen to podcasts, or just worship music or whatever music I feel like I need in my life that morning.
Yeah.
I listen to that. And then once I get my walk, I come home. Usually by the time I get back, my girls are up and around the house. So we either make breakfast. They know when I get in my shower, it's my time again. I listen to worship music. I take, 20 minutes or whatever to get ready, get dressed. And then from there, we are ready to start our day.
Yes. Yeah. So my kids normally wake up around 7, 7:30, and I'm kind of right there with you. So I wake up in the morning. I do my Bible app, honestly. So I still have Aiden in bed with me. I've co-slept with all my littles. And I want to go back to real quick. I want to go back to the very beginning to just let you
Mhm.
guys know that I have been in a whole bunch of different seasons with you. And so when I said yes to homeschooling, I was pregnant. I had no clue I would have 3 boys in a matter of 5 years. We moved multiple times from North Carolina to Oklahoma and back for deployments. We've lived in an RV for a year of that. And as I mentioned, we had a house fire and we're still not back in our house. So I say all of this to say, through all of it, I have had some sort of morning routine. I have just really enjoyed honing in on it as we go. So there's no, in my opinion, there's no point in life where it's like just absolutely impossible to give yourself 10 to 15 minutes because you need that 10 to 15 minutes, even if it is like I say in bed whenever I read my Bible app in the morning. And that just
Mm-hmm.
gives him an extra couple of minutes of connection time. I know that he's good. I know that Aiden's going to stay asleep. He is one now, and sometimes he likes to wake up in the mornings, and totally throw off my morning routine. But I have found little things that I can do. Like I have my options that I can do out of bed, and then I have my options that I can do in bed with him if he wakes up and I can't get up, essentially. So I really want you to be able to take whatever it is and make it your own. But as of right now, my current morning routine, for the most part, is I do my Bible laying in bed. I get up. We have my husband got me a super bougie coffee maker that I absolutely am head over heels in love with for Christmas a couple years ago because I did for a very long time go ahead and set my timer on my coffee maker, and that is life-giving. I totally forgot about that because it's been so long since I've been able to do it, but that is life-giving, y'all. If you're not setting your
Mm-hmm.
timer on your coffee maker, like that is next level amazing because you know you want to get up and get your hot cup of coffee. Even if you're not going to finish it hot, you want your
And
hot cup
I'm
of coffee.
Oh, for sure. And I just get grumpy when I don't have coffee. Like when it's not done and I have to start pouring in water and the coffee grounds.
Yes.
And we do have like a Keurig too, but I never use it. So I just like we drink a lot of coffee. So having that pot of coffee done when I wake up is just heavenly.
We call that setting yourself up for success, right?
That is exactly. And I love, like, I'll go pour myself a cup of coffee, and then my husband, he also is up in the mornings, and I like to pour him a cup of coffee, and I just feel like the best wife ever. I'm like,
I
bam,
know.
a win already.
I know. In a very rough season of my marriage, once upon a time, I asked myself, what is one thing that I can do for him? And coffee was so important to me that I just made it a habit to start making his coffee each and every morning. And
Mhm.
there were times that I wanted to throw my coffee or throw his coffee at him, but I went back to my Proverbs 31 woman. And before I even necessarily knew that I was being the Proverbs 31 woman, and I sucked it up and I made him his coffee. And it really has transformed, like different parts of our marriage, just letting them know first thing in the morning that you love and you care about them. And I think that that is such a fun, easy, simple way to be able to pour into them.
Mhm.
So yeah, now I make his coffee every morning as well because that's just what we do. So,
Yep.
I do the Bible. I have an app that I absolutely love called Sunsama. Sunsama, Sunsama. And this app really, really helps my ADHD. If you are a list maker and you absolutely love being able to check things off on your daily to-do list, I have really enjoyed Sunsama. I wake up in the morning, do the Bible, do my Sunsama, which I can do from my phone or I can do it from my computer. It's easier to do it from my computer, but you can do it from your phone if you get trapped in bed. And I just put all my things in there that I need to get done that day. I have pre-built morning routines that I have set for different days. I've got different AM block routines. So like my morning routine with my kids, which consist of like making breakfast for them. And then I have their school stuff in there. And so I have like all of these things that are pre-made and already in there. And so I just lay my day out for me. And I have noticed that that helps me to get more accomplished. Plus, I get that dopamine hit of being able to go and check, done, check, done. And it's so awesome to be able to just run through your day and throw all those check marks on there. Also, one of the things I love about this app is a lot of times as a homeschooling mom or a mom staying at home or maybe even just, a mom in general, you look back at your day and you're like, I feel like I have accomplished absolutely nothing. And I mean, I put things down to cleaning the kitchen on my list on my Sunsama. I know that I need to get all of the dishes done. I know I need to get my laundry done. Like, I put the things that I hate the most, like dishes and laundry, on my Sunsama, so I at least get a little bit of gratification whenever it's done. So I lay my day out with Sunsama. I am doing the Nancy Anderson ab rehab program. If you don't know what that is, a lot of us with children and pelvic floor issues, it's that belly pouch that never goes away from having kids. She has a 2-minute cycle at the beginning of all of her workouts, so I try to get that in for my movement because I do not. In this season of my life, I don't prioritize movement and exercise as much as I will in another season of my life. So, starting on baby steps, right? So, what can I do? I can do this 2-minute cycle that helps my pelvic floor, that's hopefully going to make my tummy flatter again after having 4 children. And so, I think that there is something to say of just doing the small things or saying yes to the small things.
For
Um,
sure.
right. And then I also have like I've talked in a previous episode, the Start Today journal, where I have my 5 gratitudes that I write down, and then my list of my 10 goals. So that is kind of what my morning routine is looking like. I have a note in here for you guys that the reason that I have talked about movement in several different episodes is with an ADHD brain, we have a hard time with the absorption of dopamine and serotonin, and those two things help us control movements and emotions. And so it's very important. I've also mentioned before that I am working to make my ADHD my superpower instead of it being just something that I struggle with on a daily basis. And these are kind of the tools that I use to help make my ADHD a superpower, is that movement to give my brain the extra oxygen and extra dopamine that it's looking for, and the Sunsama app, like I said. So,
I love that. Love that you
yeah.
found a way to just helping yourself and setting yourself up for success, like you were mentioning earlier. I think so often we it's so easy not to do the things that we know we should be doing that makes us better, but if we just add those small little things here and there, our whole day changes.
Right, right. And I think that that's very important to be able to just set yourself up for success. Like, who really wants to wake up in the morning at whatever time, and just choose 30 minutes. If you're starting a morning routine, choose 15 to 30 minutes before your kids wake up. And those first little bits of time, you're going to hear your alarm go off, and you're gonna be like, I don't want to do it. I have my alarm goes off silently. It starts vibrating, but it vibrates for so long that it wakes me up, but it doesn't wake the baby up. Um,
Hmm.
but man, sometimes it's so hard to open my eyeballs and get up out of bed. And I hear that to my core, especially whenever the baby's been waking up all night like he did last night, all night long. He was super congested and he was up like every hour. But
And I
I
think that's
was
important too to remember. Like if you're in a season with little ones that and you don't get like a good night's sleep, sleep is important. Like for our brain, for our day, for our mood, for all the things. So sometimes it's okay to prioritize sleep,
Mm-hmm.
and sleep a little longer in the morning. And I think what you're saying earlier, like you're laying in bed and reading, and you're still getting in some time for yourself. But it's not like you have to bounce out of bed and do like a hit workout and start
Right.
checking off the boxes to just to have a morning routine. Like it's okay to start slow, and also be mindful and going to bed early the night before.
Yes.
Because I used to, when I first started doing my morning routine years and years ago, like I kept my evenings looking the same, and I just try to get up earlier in the morning, and I was exhausted. I was so tired. But you need to,
Mm-hmm.
if you becoming a morning person, that means you need to also take care of yourself at night and go to bed a little earlier.
Yes. And, my nighttime routine. So once upon a time, I really struggled with like time scarcity is what I'm going to call it. And being like, okay, if I am going to be this person that has a podcast and I'm going to be this person that wakes up early and has a business and does all of these things, then I'm going to have to give up every ounce of my free time.
Mhm.
And I don't remember who it was that I was listening to, but I was so grateful to them for talking about time scarcity because I didn't even know that it was necessarily a thing. And I realized one of the goals that I started writing actually in my gratitude journal is I can do all of the things that God has for me to do and still have free time. So, like last night, I cleaned the kitchen, and cleaned up the house for like an hour. So I was like, okay, from 7 to 8, I'm gonna clean the house. From 8 to 8:30, I'm gonna sit down and write down podcast stuff. And y'all, from 8:30 to 9:30, I laid in bed watching Big Bang Theory and playing my Fishdom game that I absolutely love on my iPad. And that is my chill time. But
Mhm.
I set a time. I'm like, okay, I need to wake up at this time in the morning. So what time do I need to go to bed? And
Mhm.
I don't know about you, but I actually write out in my planner, and y'all, I did not start doing this. This is just like the advanced version of it. This has taken me years to come up with, but I actually have started writing out in my planner about what time I'm going to go to sleep and about what time I'm going to wake up each morning. So that way I'm planning my sleep because, like Lena said, sleep is so incredibly important to our body. And no matter what you start your morning off with, you are not going to be the person that you're trying to be if you are exhausted. So there is a
Mhm.
way to have your free time and scrolling social media and all of that is never going to make you feel good, refreshed. If you take a look at your feelings and everything after you've gotten done with 30 minutes to an hour of binging social media, like I just don't. And maybe that's just my personal opinion, but I just don't ever feel refreshed and good and positive about myself scrolling on social media. And on top of that, do it.
Oh no, I agree so much. Social media and scrolling is just like a numbing
It,
mechanism. You just sit there and you try to numb out from life, and you're looking at everybody else's life and their houses look so put together, and
right?
you could use that time to do something again to set yourself up for success, even if it's cleaning the kitchen or spending some extra time with your kids or something that's actually fulfilling in your life, not sitting there and just scrolling your hours away. And it's so easy. I mean, once you start, you can sit there for an hour and you're like, oh, I've been, it's been an hour. I can't, like, what I've been doing
Right?
myself.
Yeah. And I even put a time limit on social media for myself. I don't know if you do this, but I put a 30-minute time limit on social media apps per day. And if you have an iPhone, it'll let you choose which apps go into this. And then after 30 minutes, it tells you it's time to get off of the social media. And then whenever you go back into it because it just becomes a habit to go click on it, right?
Mhm.
Like it just becomes something that you don't even think about. You just end up on it all over again. And then you
Yeah.
end up scrolling, and then you end up like biting your kid's head off because you're trying to watch something on social media that didn't actually even really matter.
And then you get
And
late for the next thing and you're like, oh my gosh.
And then your whole day is gone, right? And then your whole day is
Mhm.
gone. But if you set that 30-minute timer, it will actually alert you that your 30 minutes is up. And do you want to continue? And it says something like add an extra minute, or it has different time periods that you can add. And then it'll re-alert you later on, you've done this much more time. So, I do really like that feature. I had deleted social media off my phone completely for
Mm-hmm.
a while, but kicking this podcast back off, I have reinstalled it and I have just noticed myself so crazy on it lately. Um,
Oh yeah.
so yeah, but okay. So another couple of things that I have done in the past that you may enjoy as well is Pastor Furtick has short sermons in the morning. And whenever I was not reading my Bible yet, that wasn't part of my morning routine. He has like 10 to 15-minute sermons that I love to go and watch. And they just really fill my morning with some good vibes and good energy and some, Jesus and all the things that we need. And so I'll sit there and I will listen to those while I'm drinking my coffee. And I have a whole list of those that I can actually add to the notes on this podcast. So, what are some other things maybe that you do and have done in the past or that you kind of shift into your morning routines?
Yeah, so I did mention on my walks, I do love to listen to podcasts and just having that something good to fill myself up with, especially if I'm in my head or it's just a lot of stress and things going on.
Yeah.
I have those podcasts that I love to listen to, and a few that I've been binge listening to lately. I love the Cameron Burr podcast.
Oh, Candace
Um,
Cameron Bure,
oh
maybe?
yeah,
I
yeah,
can't remember
yes,
her.
yes,
Is it Bure?
yes, yes. Sorry, my
I
Swedish.
do love her.
Yes, I love her. And then I've been listening to the Joy Miller podcast, and I love
Yeah.
Christine Kane, her podcast. Ed Milet is another one. And then there are two other shows that are like they are like they're if you're not into like listening to cuss words and stuff, you probably want to stay away from these. They're like two dude shows, I like to call them, but they can get me like really fired up. And I know my husband listened to them. And
Yeah.
sometimes that's just like kind of what you need, the kick in the butt to get out and do all the things that you want to accomplish in life. And
Yeah.
that's the Bedros Keuilian show, and it's Andrew Frisella's show, Real AF. And he is the creator of the Live Hard program, which I did about a year or so ago. And those shows just get me going, and they filling different cups that I need in my life at that time.
Yeah. Very cool. So, I know you sent me a Candace Cameron show the other day. What is her show like?
So it's Christian based. She has a guest for each season. So this season it's with Jenny Allen, and they're talking about her new book, Untangle Your Emotions, but they're talking about emotions and how they tie into our Christian faith and the Bible and how Jesus sees feelings and emotions. And it's been really, really good.
Oh.
Last season, it was with Bianca.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Now I can think of her last name.
Is it all
Olthoff.
all
Yeah,
Yes.
Olthoff.
Yes, I
Um,
love her. She is a pastor she has her own church with her husband. I cannot remember the name of the church, but I absolutely love her.
yes, she's hilarious, and it was just so, so good. It's really been just I guess feeding my faith in a way. Like I've been growing so much just listening to these women, and sometimes it's so nice to realize that like I'm not crazy and emotions is okay. And
Right.
um Jesus was very sensitive, and he even
Mm-hmm.
cried, and showing um just emotions and feelings in a different way. That's
Yeah,
been really, really good for me.
I love that.
And
So
another thing I like to do, if I just add a side note, that
yeah,
something
go.
that's always is overwhelming for me. And it really helps when I just throw in a load of laundry in the morning. So before I go
Mm-hmm.
on my walk, I'll throw in a load of laundry. When I come back from my walk, I put it in the dryer. And that's just helping me keep the insane amount of laundry, you know, somewhat under
Yes.
control in my house.
I get that. I totally get that because we all got 6 people in our house. So I agree. I completely agree. Okay, so if you are not a morning person, what else can you do? And Lena kind of hit on this, but I want to hit on it a little bit further is shower time. Y'all, my daughter knows and she's wonderful and I love her and I appreciate her for this. But my family knows like my shower time is my God time. And literally, if you will ask her, what's mom's shower time? She says, it's God time. It's time for me to pray. It's time for me to worship. It's time for me to connect. It's time for me to think. And Lena was actually telling me the other day that they have like shower notebooks to where if you are somebody who gets all of your best ideas in the shower, they have like little notebooks that you can find on Amazon so that you can write all of your great ideas in the shower. So I have really put a hard boundary around my time in the shower. And if I find myself in a morning where I've missed my morning routine or I need a reset for my day or whatever that may be, I will make it a point to go take a shower and give myself, 5, 10 minutes just standing in the hot water, running and giving myself that time to reset.
I love
So,
that time too. Just
yeah, I
crank up
think
music and just have some time to think.
And really, like, there's times that I blare the music, and then there's times that I blare one of those Pastor Furtick sermons that are the short sermons. And then there's times where it's like God has really just spoke to my heart and been like, this is me and you. This is just me
Hmm.
and you. This is time for you to be in the quiet. I have some things to tell you. And
Yeah.
some of my best time is spent in the quiet of the shower because there's nothing else I'm doing other than standing underwater and, getting ready for my day. And so I do think that that shower time can be a sacred time. And you do have to start that as a boundary with your kids. But one of the things that I love about it is whenever you teach your kids that your shower time is your God time, and I literally call it that, it is my God time, it is my time with Jesus, then it teaches them to also create those boundaries around that period of time or around a period of time. And the fact that they need the quiet and they need to be able to have time to connect with him as well.
Hmm. I love that.
Right?
And I love
So,
that it can be so simple, like a morning routine, and just filling your cup can be as simple as a shower. Like it
right.
doesn't have to be a big, elaborate to-do list in the morning that we
No.
so often get caught up in when we, like Google morning routines or see someone on social media. Like it can be
Yes.
simple and fulfilling. And I think that's what we're trying to share with you guys. It can be different in either season and just listen and see what it is you really need. If it's
Yes.
quiet or if it's, dancing around naked in the shower.
Right, right. My last and final point, unless Lena has anything to add, Um, if all else fails, if your morning routine has not worked out and you're going crazy, if your shower time is not an option because of whatever reason, get outside. If you need a reset to your day, go take the kids outside and spend 10 to 15 minutes out in the sun, listening to nature, hearing the birds, watching the squirrels. If that's a reality around you, we live in kind of an area with a ton of trees. So I think that getting outside is super important as well.
I totally agree, and that's why I love my walks in the mornings, just being outside and getting some fresh air. Usually, the sun is just coming up, and it's just magical being outside. Sun is good for you and fresh air.
It is. It's
Oh,
so, so good. All right. Well, I mean, do you have anything else to add? I think that we've covered a whole array of topics today. We did not
yeah.
just stick to morning routines. We talked about morning routines. We talked about communities. We've talked about all kinds of stuff. And so I'm so grateful that you guys have stuck with us through all of it. And I'm grateful for this community that we're building, Lena. And I'm so
I
excited
love
to
it.
have you on each and every time. Thank you again for jumping on with
Thank
me.
you. This was
All
fun,
right.
as always.
It was fun. All right. Have the best day. Hey friend, thanks again for joining me today on your journey to the confidence to homeschool. I hope this podcast blessed you with one more tool of success. If it did, please scroll down to the bottom of your screen and leave me a review. Share it with a friend. Just remember, confidence in anything takes practice, so let's grow.